What's up, ladies and gentlemen? This is Aaron, and over there is Mr. Zack from the Inside The Hawg Pen podcast. Thank you for joining me, Zack. We're going to do a little Wrestlemania prediction show.
Oh, this is gonna be fun, dude. I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, man. Thank you for coming on. This is going to be cool. It's the first time I've ever done something like this, but WrestleMania, as much as I love pro wrestling, it's the only time of year I get super excited is during WrestleMania season. So I think they got a pretty good card too, for the most part. We'll
For the
talk about.
most part, the build to this event though has, in my opinion, has been kind of lackluster.
Yeah, I'll agree with you there. And I'm going to be perfectly honest with you guys. I don't watch every Raw and SmackDown because I work nights during the week, so I don't always get to watch them. But I do go back every Tuesday morning and Saturday morning and watch the highlight videos that are on YouTube just to kind of catch up on what happened. And you're right, for the most part, Cena Cody Rhodes has an okay build to it. I think it's still going to be way more. I think it could be a hell of a lot better. I
That
think the.
one's
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
that one started off, I mean, real super hot. Okay, especially when you have a guy in Cena that has been a baby faced for 22 years almost,
Yeah. Something like
going
that.
back to his days at OVW. and and fans have been clamoring for him to turn heel, and he finally does it. But he does it when he's not a full time performer anymore. So it kind of takes away from that heel turn. You know, I like the move that WWE's made by letting the guys, I say guys, but we'll talk about the women here in a minute, kind of speak normal, if you would. You don't feel like it's scripted anymore, especially with Cody telling The Rock, go F himself. You know, there but I want to caution the fans that if you're not a lifelong fan and you don't know what the Attitude Era is, this is basically the closest you're probably going to get to what the OG Attitude Era was.
Yeah, 100% agree. And look, I'm going to be straight up off the top. I just kind of met and started talking tonight, but I am not a Cody Rhodes fan. I do not like Cody Rhodes. I think he's I just think he's boring. I don't necessarily dislike him as a person or anything like that.
Right.
I just mean in the ring, I think his moves are okay. I think his mic work is kind of bland to me. Like it just doesn't
He
excite me.
just doesn't have. I mean, I'll be honest with you. He's not his daddy.
No, or his
He's not
brother.
his or his
I think,
brother,
yeah,
but he has that charisma that has got him really, really over. And I'm gonna tell you, my favorite guy retired in 2020. All right, my all time favorite wrestler retired in 2020, and that was the Undertaker.
okay.
You can say what you want, but he was the end all be all when it came to number one, a company guy because he stuck with the company. He wasn't one of those that jumped ship and then came back and then jumped ship, came back. He altered his character.
Right.
And having to watch WrestleMania without him has been kind of weird. But if you look at this year's roster, it's stacked from top to bottom with future Hall of Famers. Kevin Owens is number one. LA Knight up there.
I can tell you and I get along just great because I'm a huge Kevin Owens fan too. And for some reason, he just doesn't seem to get that love that he needs to get. He's amazing. People
Well,
don't.
he's not a mid Carter, but he's one of those right now that kind of because and I think the reason he doesn't kind of get the love that he wants is because like I said, the roster is so stacked.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. I mean, look at the card. Like you're right, the build hasn't been good, but the talent on the card is insane. Like
Oh, absolutely.
Jay Uso and Gunther is one match that I think that might be one of the best matches of night one.
That one
And
has disappointed me.
the build has sucked. I just think once they get in the ring and the bell rings, the in ring work will be incredible.
Well, you also have to take into account that uh, Gunther is not part of Imperium anymore. So he doesn't have any kind of backup. He's a single star now. Jay still has the bloodline standing behind him.
True.
Okay. There's that factor. But then you have to add into the fact that Jay Uso won the Rumble, but he's not main eventing WrestleMania.
Or even main event, not one even.
He's not even main eventing either one of the nights.
Yeah.
So to me, that kind of when I found that out. Now Charlotte Flair, thank God she's not main eventing because I'm about tired of her. But we'll get to her in a second. Um, you know, he outside of maybe Cena, obviously, he is the most over superstar right now. Hands down, is the most over superstar right now, and you're not going to put him in the main event.
I'm all for, I think the triple threat match that's going to main event night one has had the best build so far,
Oh,
but I don't think it's the best. I don't think it was the right choice for the main event either because, and I don't know if you ever heard this, but Triple H back in, what was it, 18, 28, or WrestleMania 18, when it was Rock Hogan, and then it was Triple H, Chris Jericho for the title. And Triple H went to Vince and said, hey, we should, he was going to put Rock Hogan last. And Triple H is like, well, we're the title match. Title match should always go last. So there are times where I don't think that's necessarily the case. This is one where I thought it probably should have went last, just because, like you said, Jay won the Rumble.
oh yeah, but I mean, think about it. Punk coming back, finally getting his WrestleMania moment. Plus, you have the whole storyline with Paul and Roman, and now you add Seth into the mix, who's always kind of been there. But now you've got those three guys, and Paul could easily turn on Punk and go back to Roman. Paul could turn on Roman and Punk and go with Seth. There's a lot of possibilities surrounding this one match. And there's a lot of storylines that could branch off of it.
I think ring work wise, it might end up being the best match of the night. Probably, maybe one of the best matches of the whole show, because Punk's going to put. I don't know what Punk has left completely, but he's going to put every drop of it he has into this, because he's been waiting for this for 30 years now, since he started wrestling, with 25, whatever.
I think this is. I honestly think this might be Punk's swan song.
You could be right. I mean, at this point, what else does he have to prove?
Exactly. That's my point. Is his whole goal. And I think that was one of the sweet spots of him talking to Trips was, hey, I'll come back. But one of the stipulations of me coming back is I want to main event WrestleMania.
And he's in the ring with two guys that, no matter what Punk has left, and I'm not saying he don't have a lot left. He may very well. But whatever he has left, those two guys are going to pull it out of him, because Roman the last 4 years has been on another level. To me, he's been on an absolute another level. And I know when he was champ, he didn't have a whole lot of matches, but when he did, every single match he had was incredible.
Oh yeah,
every dime, every drop of blood, sweat, and tears he had into every match he had, and they were amazing. Rollins could go out there in his sleep and put on a great match. So it's going to be main event worthy. And I just feel, like you said, I do kind of feel bad for Jey Uso that he didn't get to at least headline one night. But I still think he walks out. Well, I don't want to say that yet. We'll get to our predictions, but you ready to start the predictions real quick? Oh no, first, when did you become a wrestling fan? What made you start becoming a wrestling fan?
It's probably elementary school, probably right at the start of the Attitude Era with DX. Right at that heel, because you had back then you had an even stacked roster back then too. You had Kane, Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, Triple H, Rock, Stone Cold. God, I mean, all of these different characters, and you had NWO with Hogan and Scott Hall, may he rest in peace. And now you have like the second generation of that. But I took some time off during the PG era because it just got dumb and redundant. I won't lie. I quit watching there for a good decade when it got redundant and just lackluster. But I picked it back. I picked it back up several years later, and with Cena and Randy Orton. Randy Orton in his prime, and I'm talking the Legend Killer version of that. But man, you can't top the Undertaker.
For me, I can remember the day. I don't remember the TV show. It was crazy, but I think I'm a couple years older than you. I started watching it in like the late. I think it was 1989. I was 5 years old, and it was before. It had to be before WrestleMania, because Macho Man Randy Savage was the champion, and he was a babyface. So if I put all things together, he turned heel right before WrestleMania that year. So it had to be like January or February.
That would have been WrestleMania
5.
5.
Yeah, Hogan main event. Yeah,
because you had WrestleMania 3, which was Andre and Hogan, and then you had God, who was the one that followed that? It was it Piper and no, it wasn't Piper. Who was it? It was Macho Man and Superfly, or not Superfly. Who was it? There was one match that kind of flew under the radar, but it took
Ricky Steamboat.
That's it. That's the one.
Yeah. And then 4 was a tournament, and
Yeah.
it was a 16-man tournament, which I thought was pretty cool. And being a Macho Man fan, looking back on it, that was one of my favorites because he went coast to coast and won the entire thing that year. But the first person I ever saw was Randy Savage. And he came out as champion. And yeah, he had Elizabeth. But again, I'm 5 years old. I'm not one of those 5-year-olds that's like, oh my gosh, she's so pretty. I didn't care about Elizabeth at the time. He came out with the colorful robes and the gold belt and the mannerisms. And then the match started. And it had to be like a job guy match against a job guy, because he pulled out all the hits, but the match didn't last very long. But I remember seeing him jump off the top, do the double axe to the floor, and the elbow drop off the top, and I'm like, this guy's so cool. And then I became hooked. So my favorite wrestlers ever, I don't even have a 1. I have a 1 and 1A. It's Randy Savage and Shawn Michaels. Those are my 2 favorites of all time.
I mean, how do you not like Shawn Michaels? I mean, Mr. WrestleMania.
Yeah. Back then when he was a heel, I was into him. I was one of those kids that was like a heel fan. I love the NWO. I love the original DX. But yeah, to me, my favorite Shawn and his last few years when he came back was incredible. But my favorite Shawn in the ring was from like 92 to 96 when
Before the back injury.
Before the back injury, yeah. And he didn't have a bad match. Like, he wrestled British Bulldog, and that was when Bulldog was kind of down and his career was about over. Pulled a great match out of him. Shawn could go in the ring with anybody at that point in time and have a great match. And even when he was like a dastardly little heel that everybody wanted to see get their butt kicked, I was cheering for him.
So yeah, that's the best kind.
Yeah. But yeah, man, and like you, I won't say I quit watching altogether, because I never really quit watching, but I got to where there were points where I would skip a few weeks here and there. And
yeah, and I mean, I didn't quit because I'd keep up with it. There were times right there in the early 2000s, right after the Attitude Era, that you just it became predictable.
Yep.
And it was at that point I was like, all right, Vince, you're either gonna have to step aside and let somebody else take it, or you're gonna have to do something different.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. And I honestly, though, I grew up a WCW kid. Like, when I was a kid, I was way more into WCW and even the bad years. And I guess I'm weird. I'm not going to deny that I'm not, because I like the new generation era of WWF too, with Brett and Shawn, and you had Kane there as the dentist. He went.
Yeah, that was Isaac Yankem.
Yankem DDS.
that was going back and watching that. I was like, but because I knew him as Kane.
Right, yeah.
Corporate Kane, the Authority Kane, and the Big Red Machine. And to see him as Isaac Yankem, you're just like, what the?
And the next year he was Diesel.
Yeah. Okay, that was fun though.
Yeah, Diesel was cool. And the Razor Ramon guy, and I love Scott Hall. He's one of my probably top 10 favorites of all time. He nailed Scott Hall to perfection. Like, if you didn't get a close up of his face, where you can obviously tell it wasn't him, he did the mannerisms right, and he got the outsiders there, Razor's Edge looked good. So I thought they were fun. They didn't last long, but I thought they were fun while they were there.
I remember Undertaker, and I remember this vividly. It was probably one of the first episodes of Raw that I can remember. Was Undertaker had Stephanie McMahon on that little cross thing.
Yes.
Stone Cold came in and saved her. I remember and I don't know if I can cuss on your podcast or not, but that scared the hell out of me as a kid. But it was like, I got to find out what happens.
The week before, so did you ever see the episode from the week before where it ends with Stephanie running away and she gets in the limo?
Yes.
The driver turns around, it's the Undertaker. Where to, Stephanie?
Where to? But I mean, for me, it was the different iterations of the Undertaker, from the Undertaker when he debuted in 1990 at Survivor Series as the mysterious fifth man for the $1 Million Man, all the way to Ministry of Darkness, to when he flipped his character on his head and went American Badass, back to the Dead Man, to now you have the legend, which is Mark Calloway, the Undertaker, and the American Badass, all kind of wrapped into one. And that's what you got at WrestleMania 20 in 2020 when they did the Boneyard match, which, by the way, outside of WrestleMania 25, one of the best matches I've ever seen.
I had to watch it twice to really get into it. The first time I watched it, I'm like, okay. I mean, I see where they're going with it. It was during COVID, so I got it. I watched it a second time, like, you know what? This is pretty damn good. I have
Well,
to admit.
it had it been anybody else, I don't think it would have had the same kind of pop because it was AJ, and I was watching some of the behind the scenes stuff, and I know we got this WrestleMania to talk about, but I was watching them because it was during COVID. There was a lot of restrictions and garbage and stuff going on, and I was watching the behind the scenes part of it. It was like WWE 24 or something, like one of the
Yep,
documentaries that they did.
yep.
AJ goes, I went to Mark and I was like, look, I want to cross the line here. Are you good with me calling you Mark? Are you good with me bringing in your wife and all this? And Mark goes, it's your funeral.
That meme, the thing that's a meme now with AJ standing up on the back of
Yes.
the Undertaker just comes up behind him, and now you see on everything, not even non-wrestling related stuff. You see that meme of me thinking it's the weekend and my boss right behind me.
Yep.
Let's take a look on his face. That was great. And again, I had to watch it twice to really get it. The second time I watched it, I'm like, this is some good shit. It really is.
When they went to the 2-night format, I really I was like, this is not going to work right. This is not going to go well. In essence, you're basically getting 2 WrestleManias in 1 year.
Yeah. Yep.
If you think about it, because for me, especially WrestleMania 40, both nights were really, really good. Some that first night was like, okay, but that second night was just top notch. And now you're looking at it, and I think I sent this to you earlier this afternoon when we were talking about doing the show. 18 hours total for
Yeah.
WrestleMania. 9 hours, 2 days. Holy crap.
I don't know, like, there's only 14 matches, so 4 hours left over. I don't know. Like I think I told you. I think I sent back to you that the first 2 hours of each day is going to be the pre-show, and then I think an hour or two is going to be the post-show. But that still leaves
Well,
like
now you have so I saw the
6 hours.
Yeah, so I saw the breakdown. It's a 3-hour pregame or pre-show for both days. It's a 4-hour main event, main card show, and then another like 2 or 3 hour post.
That's just crazy to me.
Let me see if I can find the breakdown where I saw it. I can't remember where I found it at.
Can you still hear me, by the way?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay. I turned my car on because it got hot in here, and now my phone went through my speaker went through my car, so I wasn't sure if I could still be heard. So while you're looking at that up, one other thing I thought we talk about. How many WrestleManias have you seen? Have you seen pretty much all of them at this point? Or the
I have
vast
gone
majority of them?
Yeah, I've seen the majority of them. I have seen almost every WrestleMania since WrestleMania 25 consecutively. I've gone back and watched the previous ones.
Okay. Which one would you say at this point, just off the top of your head, was your favorite WrestleMania?
Ooh.
It didn't have to be like the entire card, but just the one that pops in your head is like, oh, that one's probably my favorite.
I have 4, and it's kind of a continuous storyline.
Okay.
25, 26, 27, and 28 were probably some of the best ones. I mean, you could back it up and do 24 to 28, but 25 through 28, oh my God. How can just that storyline with Taker and Shawn, Taker and Hunter, and then Taker, Hunter, and Shawn all wrapped into one. To me, it doesn't get any better than that. Now you could go. What was the one that did in Levi's Stadium? Was that 31?
Yeah.
Where it was Triple H and Sting, and then NWO came out, members of DX came out. Nostalgically, you could go with that one. But I mean, in all honesty, they all have. To me, I don't know about you. They all have different aspects where you're like, okay, that was pretty good. Okay, this one was pretty good. But for me, it was 25 to 28 here.
I agree. They're all different. For me, I'm like you. I probably have 3 or 4. I don't necessarily have an absolute favorite. My sentimental favorite is WrestleMania 12, and it's because it's the night Shawn Michaels won the title from Bret Hart. And being
Yep.
a huge Shawn Michaels fan, they had that 1 hour Iron Man match, and they had a massively underrated Undertaker Diesel match that was just
Yes.
fantastic. They don't talk about that match, but the match was fantastic.
I have the layout. So it's 3 hours pre-show, 4 hours main show, 2 hours post-event show. That's still a long time, and it takes a very dedicated WWE fan to sit through 18 hours worth of coverage.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I will have the whole thing on in the background. I probably won't pay much attention to the pre-show because I never really do. But
I mean, who does really?
yeah, I'll have it on in the background as background noise. But then once the show starts, I'll watch every second of the main show, and I'll even watch some of the post show because I've really gotten into the media scrums afterwards that they do.
Oh, yeah.
I think they're pretty cool. They make it seem way more legit. And so I'll probably watch some of the post show. I'll definitely watch all of Mania itself. They used to have matches during the pre-show, which was great. Now it's just 2 hours of 4 Yahoo sitting there talking, and I'm like, I don't really care enough to watch 2 hours.
Yeah, and they had that was kind of like the overflow for show for matches that didn't make the main card. When you're looking at night one, I wanted to ask you this: when you're looking at night one, what's the one match you're like, who cares?
Let me get the card out real quick. I have to go back through it. I've
got 2 or 3 right off the top of my head.
Jade Cargill, Naomi. I don't really care too much about that one. I think Rey Mysterio, Chad Gable could be really good.
And he's not. That's not Gable. That's not Gable.
Okay, El Grande Americano.
If y'all don't know by now, that's Chad Gable. And if you can't figure it out, just stop watching. Go to AEW.
He's amazing. I wish he got something better than this crap. Like, I'm a huge Chad Gable fan of the ring, but that whole storyline is old and repetitive, and I'm just not big into it. But it might be Mysterio's last WrestleMania, so I might get into that.
He's already a Hall of Famer. What more does he have to prove?
Yeah, but I think
Jade Cargill and Naomi, it could have been great. I just don't see what everybody else sees in Jade Cargill.
I'm not really, honestly, a fan of either one of them. Like, I'm not.
But Cargill just something about her just doesn't sit well with me, and I can't figure out what it is.
Now, I'm somewhat interested in Tiffany Stratton, Charlotte Flair, but I'm not going to be happy about the ending because
I'm not either. But I'm going to tell you this: I am a huge Tiffany Stratton fan.
I love her. Yeah.
Just because of the promo that her and Charlotte Flair cut that went way off script.
She didn't back down either. She went toe to toe with Charlotte on the mic.
That's just it. Those are some of the best promos when they go off script. And I don't understand why everybody's all pissed off about it. If you wanted to make a match and build heat on that match, that's the perfect way to do it.
Agreed.
But I agree with you. I'm not going to like the outcome because screw Charlotte Flair. The only reason she's getting what she's getting is because of who her daddy is.
Yep.
That's it.
I don't necessarily dislike Charlotte Flair, but when she won the Rumble, I was legitimately pissed because, to be honest with you, that night I was thinking it had to be Alexa Bliss. I love Alexa Bliss.
She deserves to win that thing.
Yes.
Not Charlotte. And that's at that point, and it was kind of like Shayna Baszler a couple of years back when she come into the Elimination Chamber, just blew everybody away.
Yep.
Same kind of thing. It's become so predictable that you know who's going to win before the match even starts.
It makes the matches pointless.
It does. Really does. Exactly.
They could be the greatest matches ever, but at the end of the day, if you know exactly who's going to win, it's just that's why I think that WrestleMania 39 Cody Roman match was way more of a favorite for me than last year because the ending came out of nowhere. I did not in a million years think Roman was winning that night.
No, I had no idea. I thought Cody was going to pull it off. Yeah,
and when Roman won, I ain't gonna lie, man. I as they say, marked out in the living room.
Guilty. Yeah. But okay, think about it this way: Tiffany Stratton versus Alexa Bliss, or Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte Flair. What has more luster to it? Just hearing that match, not the stipulation behind it, not the Money in the Bank contract, not the Royal Rumble, just the match at WrestleMania, which has more.
Oh, definitely Tiffany and Alexa Bliss. Yeah, for sure.
Because here's the thing with Alexa, you still have in your back pocket the attachment to the Wyatt Six. Nobody's thinking about that.
What gets me is she come back after 2 years, having a kid, becoming a mom. She didn't have to come back at this point. She lost her best friend in Bray Wyatt. She didn't have to come back. She came back, and I'm sitting there going, "Okay, Hunter, what are you going to do with her?" And the answer so far has been absolutely nothing. Nothing. She even had an elimination chamber match. What she was in the chamber, right? And she was one of the first 1 or 2 eliminated. And I'm like, she didn't even make it to the end of the Rumble. I think she was like in the final 6 or something, but it wasn't even her.
She wasn't it. It came down to her and Charlotte. I thought.
No, it came down to Charlotte and Liv Morgan.
Liv. Okay, so yeah, Liv or Alexa should have won the Rumble.
Yeah, agreed. And so that's probably one I'm least looking forward to. One I'm most looking forward to, besides the triple threat, I'm gonna be honest, is LA Knight, Jacob Fatu.
That's that. LA. I'm a big LA Knight fan.
Yeah.
So if you guys, so outside of wrestling, I actually host a podcast called Inside The Hawg Pen. It's all about Razorback sports. And if you listen to the podcast, you'll actually hear references of LA Knight in our music and in our breaks and everything else.
I think I messaged you that one night, and I was like, I heard a WWE reference, and you were like,
yeah. My social media manager. Shout out to my social media manager. He and of course, shout out to all the guys that I work with over there. They kind of throw in different WrestleMania or WWE terms, and even in the descriptions of what we post on social media and everything. So there's a little bit of WWE sprinkled into it.
I'm like you. I'm a huge Jacob Fatu fan too, though. I think that dude is amazing.
He is oh my God, he is a beast.
Now, I'm not going to be, I don't want to see LA Knight lose the U.S. title, but I want to see him catapult to something else. And maybe this losing the U.S. title will be, because I really do think, and I'll just give my prediction right now, Jacob Fatu probably wins that match. And if he does, and if he don't, it's going to be because Solo cost him the match. I think that might be the only other way they go, where it looks like he's going to win the title and then Solo cost him the match.
So I agree with you to a point. I think Solo interferes. And you're going to look at Solo versus Jacob at a later pay-per-view, whether it be SummerSlam or Backlash or what's the
Survivor Series?
Yeah, Survivor Series.
Yeah. But yeah, looking at the card, those are the 2 matches I'm most looking forward to. War Raiders and New Day might be good. I think it might be good.
But I mean, I'm not gonna lie, the New Day's kind of ran its course.
It has, because they keep trying to still make them funny and stuff. I'm like, you turned them heel, had them turn on Big E. You could have had this awesome run as these like dastardly heels, and instead they're losing every match they're in. And I'm like, well, so we're supposed to suddenly care about them now again? Like, we're supposed to be invested in this heel turn when it's done nothing since you turned them heel? Like, come on. They have to win the tag belts at WrestleMania. Otherwise, the whole thing is just like, they might as well just, like you said, just stop it. It's run its course. If you're not going to put the belts on them, there's no point in having them around at this point.
I mean, in my opinion, though, Aaron, New Day just hasn't been the same since Big E.
Not as a group they haven't. Yeah.
New Day just hasn't. They haven't hit like they used to with Big E. And it's just one of those where it's like, okay, next.
So you ready to do some predictions from that one?
Well, yeah, let's do it.
All right, we'll go. I mean, I wrote these down in reverse order because I think this might be more of a match order than the original. But first match, Cargill, Naomi. I know neither one of us care, but who do you think wins?
Can they both lose by double disqualification?
Double count? We can go with that. Would almost make more sense storyline wise anyway than having one go over. Unless Cargill dominate.
I'm gonna say nobody wins, and it's a draw due to double count out.
Rey Mysterio versus Chad El Grande Americano Gable.
I'll be honest with you. I think Rey Mysterio does what a legend does and puts over Chad Gable.
Oh, I was about to say we're going to be opposite there, but no, I agree. Yeah, I think he puts him over too.
Because I don't, and the reason I say that is because Ray, like we talked about a few minutes ago, Ray's got nothing else to prove. I mean, he's got nothing to prove by winning this match.
I 100% agree. And I mean, Chad Gable or El Grande, whatever you want to call him at this point, he's got a lot more left. He's still way younger and way more left in the tank, and he needs.
And I think you'll see the demasking of El Grande if he beats Rey Mysterio.
Finally, get the crap off of him.
Oh yeah.
LA Knight Jacob Fatu for the U.S. title.
I want so bad to go LA Knight, and I'm. You know what? Screw it. I'm gonna go LA Knight.
Okay.
Because I think Solo is gonna get involved, which is gonna DQ Jacob.
I hope you're right. I went Jacob, but I hope you're right, to be honest with you. And it's not, I love Jacob.
It's not that I don't like Jacob Fatu. I just don't think he's ready to hold a belt yet.
I don't really think at this point he still needs to. I think he's still at that point where he's still so over right now. I don't think he necessarily needs to anyway.
No, I don't think it's a necessity at this point.
Tag team titles: War Raiders, New Day.
I'm gonna go War Raiders or the Viking Raiders because screw the rest of it. War Raiders. They're always gonna be the Viking Raiders.
I agree. Why change names when things are working? Like I never fully understood that anyway. Like,
well,
I get it.
Which one? Okay, so which one's is it? Ivar that's the bigger dude, or is that Eric?
No, Ivar's the bigger guy. Yeah.
If he sits on Xavier Woods, ball game. I'm calling it now. When he sits on dudes, I'm just like, yes. Reminds me of God, was it Rikishi?
Yokozuna used to do that too.
Yokozuna.
As a kid, his bonsai drop scared me so bad.
Oh my God. So I'm not the only one that scared the hell out of. Okay, good.
And you hear people talk about now that took it. They're like, no, it's like he never even landed on us. And I'm like, how is that even possible? But he would jump down. And he would just he'd be like an inch away from him, but he would never land on him. And it's like if he wanted to hurt you, he would squash you like a bug. But if he liked you,
when he would jump down, I'd go, oh crap, oh. Because you know those guys would be scared to death, get the ribs broke.
Oh, for sure. Especially if he didn't like you, I wouldn't take it. Like if he didn't like you, I'd be like, no.
Let me tell you something. Receipts are real.
Oh yeah. I got a friend who works independent. He's an independent wrestler. Quite a few of them actually. My co-host is actually part of an independent wrestling company, and he's a manager a manager.
Yeah.
And they'll tell me all the time about stories about guys that you go in the ring planning on working together and putting on a good show, but then somebody does something you don't like, and you just, give them a receipt.
I had a buddy out of Memphis that's his dad used to work in Memphis wrestling. Memphis is a hotbed for all these guys.
Oh yeah,
Jerry Lawler's territory. Knew Jerry Lawler, knows a whole bunch of wrestlers and everything. And I would sit and just hear stories of back in the 70s and 80s of how guys would give receipts and stuff.
I wouldn't want to be a part of it. Like I would do my best not to make people mad.
I'd get in the ring and go, okay, you want me to do what now?
Whatever you say, sir. Tiffany Stratton, Charlotte Flair.
Okay, give me Tiffy time, baby.
All right.
Only because I hate Charlotte Flair. I think I hate Charlotte Flair like I hate the Texas Longhorns.
Uso Gunther for the world title.
Give me Jey Uso. But that's gonna be a bad match, and I mean bad match in a good way.
Oh, I think so too. They're gonna tear the house down. Main event: Rollins Reigns. CM
Don't be on that Gunther Jey match. Don't be surprised if you see blood.
I think you almost have to at this point after what he did. After what he did to Jimmy.
Jey or Jimmy?
Yeah. There was a meme. I had to tell you this. It's hilarious. I saw it last night. You seen the movie Home Alone?
Oh yeah.
So when the kid comes out, says, "I'm not afraid anymore."
With it.
It was Jey Uso saying, "I'm not afraid anymore," and then the old man come out with a Gunther face.
Yes.
He took off. Those comments were hilarious. When he screams and takes off running, Jey Uso's head's still looking at Gunther while his body's running this way. Somebody's like, "Look, Jey's so scared he forgot to turn his head around." Anyway, Rollins, Reigns, and Punk main event for not one.
How do you put Punk in the main event and not let him win? Number one, he finally gets his main event moment. He has Paul in his corner again. I mean, I'm gonna go CM Punk.
I see. This is a match where the only person I don't want to see win is the one I end up picking, because I went Rollins, and only because I think that they might do the whole Paul turn. I don't want to see Paul turn heel. I don't. I love seeing Paul as a baby
And
face.
you gotta think too. Nobody's talking about Rollins in this match.
Oh yeah,
Think about it. Nobody's talking about Rollins being in this match. They're all about the tribal chief and the fact that he has nobody now. He lost his bloodline. He lost his Uafala. He lost the title, and now he lost his wise man. He's nobody. You got Punk.
It makes you think more that Reigns might end up winning, because they put such a corner that, and he has lost. He did lose last year's Mania. I think it's going to be Punk. I honestly hope you're right. Of the three, I hope you're right. And I love Roman. I'm a huge Roman fan, but he doesn't have to win this match. Punk needs to win it. Rollins won't win it clean. If Rollins wins, it's going to be because Paul turned and joined Rollins.
Think back at the Rumble at how close Punk came. Think back at the Elimination Chamber at how close Punk came. If you look back at the previous of the build, at least from Punk's storyline, it's Punk.
I would be totally okay with that. I think he deserves that moment. I do.
And like I said at the top of the show, I think this is Punk's swan song. I think him and Cena are going to go out this year.
I was thinking Orton too, but Orton still looks like he's got maybe a couple more years left in him.
Orton may have about a year or two left.
Yeah,
that back, he's not hitting the RKOs like he used to.
True. And speaking of Randy, I have it down, even though it's not official, but we know he's going to have a match at Mania. It's just going to be against a mystery opponent. The question is, who's the mystery opponent going to be? Do you have any?
Honestly, I want to see Nick suit up.
I would love to see Nick suit up. I would.
That promo that him and Randy cut the other night, I was like, are we fixing to get Randy and Nick? Because Nick was getting fired up for a second. I'm going, he's not going to, the storyline's going to be, there wasn't anybody for Nick to find that would take Randy on. Nick had to do it himself.
See, I would be so down with that. People forget, and this is one thing I don't necessarily like about some WWE fans. They act like that's the only wrestling there is out there. A lot of people don't realize what amazing talent in the ring Nick Aldis has been for years.
Oh yeah.
He's only 35 years old. He's not even that old. He's younger than both of us. He deserves a moment like this. This would be amazing to see it. I'm going with Rusev because he did just re-sign with WWE a few days ago.
I forgot about that.
And so I think Nick would pull that out of the hat which he's not really a heel GM. So he's like a tweener GM at this point. So but if it isn't him, I think it's Rusev.
I'd be okay with both of those.
The one person I don't want to see, because I'm such a huge fan and because I argue with so many people on Facebook about it recently, is Kevin Owens. I don't want to see it be a fake.
I don't think it's going to be KO. I think they've already squashed the fact that KO's out.
I don't want to see him injured by any means, but I mean, I also don't want to see it come back to where this was all just a story. Only personally because I got so many arguments with people who are telling me that it's fake, and I'm like, I don't think.
No, I think KO's legit injured. I think he's going to be out for a little bit.
And that sucks, man, because he and Orton would have had a freaking.
Because they wouldn't have pulled him if it was storyline. They would have pulled him this close to Mania.
Probably true, and they would have had it come out. I think probably this past week and say that he was lying to get the build back up again. So. All right, so who do you think wins? If it's Orton Aldis or Orton Rusev? You think Orton wins either way?
Well, I mean, again, this is one of those matches where Orton doesn't have anything else to prove. He's kind of like Cena was for years and just putting guys over.
True.
But if it's Rusev, I got to give the edge to Rusev because he is coming back. You want the crowd to welcome him back and everything else, and you want to see that power that he had when he first joined WWE. Many, many, many years ago. If it's Nick, I'm going to give the edge to Randy again. So if it's Randy Rusev, it's Rusev. If it's Randy and Nick, I'm gonna go Randy.
I'm gonna go with you too. I'm gonna go that way too, only because I'm afraid, and I hope Triple H isn't this way. But there's that whole, oh well, he wasn't a star here, so we're not going to put him over one of our stars. We know he had a fan base back in whatever. Of course, Triple H does watch other companies, unlike Vince, but at the same time, like it's like he was a big fish in a small pond. Wink, wink. He can't, like they did Sting. That's exactly what they did to Sting. Like he was
Sting deserved so much better when he came.
He did. It was a crock. I was so mad that night. When you brought up that WrestleMania as being a great one, I'm like, I can't even put it there because of that. Like the moment was cool. Seeing Sting at Mania was incredible.
The moment, and that was why I was saying it wasn't the match. It was the moment of all of that nostalgia. The match itself sucked.
Yeah.
The best match. Now I'll tell you this: the best match of that night. Oh my God, who was it? It was Randy. I think it was Randy and Seth.
Seth, yeah, the RKO off the stomp.
RKO, yeah, off the stomp.
I agree with you.
Wasn't that the same night Sheamus like set the record, beat the hell out of a kid in like 30 seconds? Was that the same WrestleMania?
It was the year. It was.
Or was it
that was Daniel? That was Daniel Bryan, and I think it was like 28 or 29.
Okay,
29. It was 29. It was Daniel Bryan. It was 29.
Yeah, because it was right before 30 when he went and won both belts.
Yeah,
that's right.
When he was a heel that night against Sheamus was the babyface. He was a heel. He kissed AJ and then turned around right into a foot. 1, 2, 3.
I mean, he just kicked the crap out. I remember watching that going, oh, that's going to leave a mark in the morning.
The next match I have written down is kind of like my low-key potential match of the whole show.
Okay.
AJ Styles, Logan Paul.
Give me AJ, give me AJ, give me AJ. I cannot stand Logan Paul. I could get on a soapbox about how much I think Logan Paul doesn't even deserve to be in a WWE ring.
I will agree with you there. I'm worried. Like I want to see AJ win this match because I'm such a massive fan of AJ Styles, and he's getting close to the end too. I'm afraid he's going to be in that same boat of Orton and probably Cena in the main event, where they're so old that they're not old, but they've got so many years behind them.
Oh yeah,
like we're going to bring you in just to put guys over. Like
I don't see that on this one.
I hope you're right. I really do. I hope you're right because, and it's not a not.
I mean, I'd rather see Logan Paul versus Pat McAfee at this point. Just to see Logan Paul get the crap beat out of him.
God, I love Pat McAfee. I wish he would do something at Mania. I know he'll be there commentating. I wish he'd do a battle royal or something to let Pat McAfee join it.
I mean, I cannot begin to tell you how much I hate Logan. And I hate him. And that's not just because he's a heel and, you're supposed to hate him. No, I hate him legitimately overall.
I dislike his brother more than I do him. I don't like him necessarily, but I
hate the whole family.
That Tyson fight, like,
don't even get me started. No, Aaron, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't. Just look. Tyson had him beat. Tyson had him beat in the third round.
Yep.
But you could tell Tyson pulled his punch because the Mike Tyson we know
would have killed him.
Would have knocked that kid into next year.
That fight wouldn't have lasted a round with the
No.
And I grew up when I was a kid, my dad was buying Tyson fights twice, 2-3 times a year, however many times he fought. We were Tyson fanatics in my family as a kid.
So Tyson fought many years ago. Tyson fought out here at, I think it was Barton, long time ago.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that.
And my dad went to that fight. He said, I paid a buttload of money for this fight. That fight didn't last half a round. Tyson, one punch, knocked this kid into the mat.
Maybe it's because I was a kid and I wasn't the one having to pay for it, but I still feel this way now. Like if I paid $60 for a fight and it only lasted a round, but I got to see Mike Tyson do what Mike Tyson does, I wasn't going to be mad about it.
It's totally worth it.
Yeah, it was worth it to me. Me, my brother and I bought Floyd Mayweather and oh my gosh, Manny Pacquiao a few years ago, and it was the worst $100 we ever spent, man, because that fight was it was a bore fest. It was running the entire 12 rounds, and we just looked at each other going, man, we just wasted $100. I would have given $100 and would have smiled to watch Tyson fight. But
man, Tyson in his prime, I wouldn't have cared. I'd just to see Tyson fight.
Yep.
That's like Ali in his prime. You know, I'd love to have seen Ali in his prime.
There's something about like just to see his entrance. Like you said, you're being such a huge fan of the Undertaker. His entrance is better than some of his matches, even sometimes.
His entrance is longer than half the matches he's been in.
So when I saw him like the American Badass is my favorite version of the Undertaker. I love the American Badass version. But when he turned back to the Dead Man in 04, they had a SmackDown in Little Rock, and he wrestled. I guess it was 05 because he wrestled Randy Orton in a WrestleMania
I
rematch.
remember that one because I was there.
I was there too. And it was the first time I ever seen that. I've seen the American Badass Undertaker many times in person. That was the first time I saw that Undertaker in person. And when he came out to the ring, that I swear I was freezing. It was the coolest entrance I've ever seen in person. I was in awe of it. And I was 25.
I'm going, come on. And I looked over at my buddy and I said, if that gong hits, I'm hitting I'm hitting the freaking ceiling. That gong hit, you want to talk about marking out? Aaron, I went nuts.
That was the night that Randy and Cowboy Bob Orton brought the U-Haul out.
Yes, that was it. That was that night.
They had the Undertaker corpse in a coffin, and Orton won with an RKO in the ring. Now, I admit, again, being a heel fan, I was pulling for Orton, although I thought the entrance was amazing. And when they pulled out that casket, Undertaker saw that likeness of himself. We were sitting in that corner right there by where it was going on. So I could see it clear as day. And that look on his face of just, holy crap, this is really, it was almost like, oh, this is kind of cool. Okay, but
speaking of the Undertaker,
yeah, don't do it, man.
Are we gonna hear the gong?
The lights in my car went out. There we go.
No, when you think about it, have you seen the new show LFG?
I watched a little bit of it. I haven't gotten to watch all the way through, but I watched a few episodes.
So
yes.
I watched that and I listened to Mark's. Like I know him, personally. I'm calling him Mark. I listened to Mark Calloway's podcast, 6 Feet Under.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes into depth and he says, when you're developing a character, it's all about the entrance. He says, nobody gives a what you do in the ring if you don't have the right entrance. If you have an entrance that will hook people, that will scare. He said, because he said, half my entrances were longer than the matches themselves.
Yeah.
He said people were hooked when you hear the gong, when you see the smoke, and you hear that thunder, and you hear his entrance music hit. You know, it's going to get real.
One of my favorite people as a kid, I mean, those Macho and Shawn are my favorites, but another one I really liked was Triple H.
Yeah,
and his entrance with the badass Motorhead music, and then the water and everything. I'm like, that is.
So,
that is awesome.
Do you like King of Kings or the game version?
I gotta admit, as much as I love the game, I like King of Kings better. I like King of Kings better.
Boy. I mean, don't get me wrong. He is the game, and it was Mick Foley it was that match with Mick Foley and that interview with Jim Ross that you saw him go from terrorizing to Hunter Hearst Helmsley to the game, basically.
Yep.
With the sledgehammer and if you look at the trajectory, a lot of characters and a lot of guys, number one, that are in the Hall of Fame, but number two, that are wrestling today, contribute their match and their character and their personality to Mick Foley. Look at Undertaker, Mick Foley, Hell in a Cell 97. Okay, Shawn Michaels, not Shawn Michaels, Randy Orton, Mick Foley, Edge, Mick Foley, Rock, Mick Foley.
Yep. Yeah. That Rock McFoley rivalry '99, one of my favorites of all time. They had some crazy ass matches together.
A Rock and Sock'em connection, man.
All right, my wife is texting me. Let's get through the rest of these real quick, and then we'll wrap this one up and maybe do another. Are you free Friday night?
I should be.
Let's do another one Friday night where we just literally talk about the first night, and we'll figure out something else to talk about. But we'll just do another one.
I'll see if my co-host MC's available for that one too.
Sounds good. All right, Intercontinental title match: Braun Breaker, Dominic Mysterio, Finn Balor, El Lapenta, whatever.
Braun Breaker, hands down. You cannot tell me running full blast at some son of a Braun. Give me Braun all day.
I'm going to go with an upset here, And because I like
Aaron, I swear to God, if you say Dominic, I'm getting off of here right now.
bye-bye.
Oh, are you kidding me?
No, I'm not. And here's why. They have built this thing up between Braun, Penta, and Finn Balor. They just kind of threw him in as an afterthought. Now, he could easily be thrown in just to take the pin. But for some reason, I just have a feeling that WrestleMania is going to have a moment or two that we go, holy shit, didn't see that coming. Everybody sees Paul Heyman possibly turning coming. So if it happens, it won't be as big a shock. Dominic Mysterio, who's never won a title on the main roster, sneaks in a win, let's say after Braun like breaks Penta in half with a spear or something, and then Dominic cowardly sneaks his way in for a 3 count. I could definitely see that happening. And you talk about getting some heat. That would get major heat and like piss off a lot of people, and it's almost perfect for WrestleMania.
Okay, let me throw a wrench into your plans here. All right. I think the Wyatt Six get involved in this match. And you're going to see the start of the Wyatt Six versus the Judgment Day. Or something happens between Finn and Dominic, and you see the complete collapse of the Judgment Day. This is the beginning of the collapse of the Judgment Day. Because you've seen the cracks. You can't tell me you haven't seen the cracks. I think this is the beginning of the end of the Judgment Day.
Honestly, I can't believe I forgot they're still a thing. To be honest,
that's my point. That's exactly my point.
Okay, of all the matches you asked me earlier that I didn't care about, this is the ultimate one I don't care about. Women's tag team titles. Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, Bayley.
What? I'm sorry, I was taking a nap during that match. What?
Yeah, exactly. I could care less.
Don't get me wrong. I'm a huge Liv Morgan fan because she is. Anyway, but yeah, I mean, what? Big whoop.
Who you got winning it though?
I'm gonna go. The champs retain. I think Liv and Raquel. I mean, again, Bayley and Lyra. Why? What do they get out of it? Bayley is a first ballot Hall of Famer already.
I think she's probably in there to take the pin. Honestly, because it's so young, I think Bayley will end up taking the pin.
Probably.
Io Sky, Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair.
Again, one of those matches where it's like, who cares? But it's going to be Rhea. You know it's going to be. It's either going to be her or Bianca.
Yeah, I went Rhea too.
But I think it's going to be Rhea. Now, here's the thing, and it'll never happen, but I would love to see, because you started to see a little bit of it at the Rumble. Or no, was it the Rumble or the first episode of Raw on Netflix, where Taker came out and kind of gave her props. I'd love to see him as her manager at some point.
That would be pretty cool.
That would be pretty sweet. Again, I'm an Undertaker fan, so I mean, you throw Undertaker, you hit the gong on anything, and I'm just like, yes.
Main event time: Cody Rhodes, John Cena.
This one's going to get interesting because a lot of things. There's a lot of possibilities here. It's not going to be a clean win either way.
I don't think so either.
I think it's not going to be a clean win either way, and I don't think that. Yes, Cena is the heel. But I think I can't remember if he's come out and said he doesn't want to win the 17th title and break Ric Flair's record or something. But I don't think he's going to win it here. I think he'll come close, but I don't think he'll win it. I think Cody retains somehow.
That would be the only ending to WrestleMania that would make me absolutely disappointed to see Cody Rhodes pin John Cena at the end of the night. I mean,
Cena hasn't won a WrestleMania main event or hasn't won a WrestleMania match since what, 2017, 2018?
Probably before that. I think that Rusev match at 31 might have been the last one he won.
Yeah. So, I mean, okay. So, growing up as a kid, yes, I was a John Cena mark. Big whoop. So, sue me. I'd love to see John go out with the title. But we've heard this story before, have we not? Out of one, CM Punk. I'm going to leave with the title. I'm going to leave with the title. I'm going to leave with the title. I just don't see it happen.
You're probably right. And that, again, it's one of the few things that could happen at Mania that would really disappoint me because, and yes, I said earlier, I'm not a Cody Rhodes fan, but he has had the belt for over a year now. Like, I'm all for long title reigns. He's not Roman Reigns. I do not want to see him hold on the belt for 4 years. Like, I
Well,
just don't.
he's held it for a year, but how many title defenses has he had?
Not a whole lot. And that's
Exactly.
another thing that bothers me. The Cody Rhodes fans are like, they're still trash Roman about his part-time schedule. I'm like, Rhodes has maybe had a couple more matches than Reigns had in a year, but not very many. And the
Now,
times have been just like,
the
you know,
flip side to this, though, Aaron, is something that happened on, was it Raw? I forget. I'm getting all of my. It's been a whirlwind of a week for me. Where Cody comes out and has every title lined up.
yeah, SmackDown Friday night. Yep.
Yeah, SmackDown. Okay, that right there kind of was. I was like, well, wait a minute, because now you've got the spinner title, the Winged Eagle title, and all these other ones. I'm like, okay, either Trips knows what he's doing and he's throwing us off the scent, or Cody may actually drop the title. At that point, because going into SmackDown, I was like, Cody's going to win it. They're not going to let John Cena win it at WrestleMania on a part-time schedule. Ain't happening. Ain't happening. And then Cody comes out and makes this big deal about how he's, all these champions ahead behind him and before him and all these belts and everything. And I'm just like, okay, now I don't know for sure which way this thing's going to go.
I think we can see it going either way, which that's an exciting part. Because again, last year at Mania, I don't think very many people had any doubt that Cody was walking out champion. Like when it didn't happen at 40 and they made it the main event for 41, it made it like
with the whole moniker of he has to finish the story.
Yeah.
And then him dropping it at 40 at 39, you had to know. I mean, somehow, some way, with the bloodline interfering at 39, you had to know he was going to pull all the stops out at 40 and get the Undertaker, get Stone Cold, get John Cena, get all of these legends out there and all these guys to help him.
But this year you look at it and I'm with you. It could go either way.
It could.
I'm going with my heart and probably not my head. My head says, yeah, Cody's probably retaining. And I'm the first to admit I was not the biggest John Cena fan, but I didn't hate him like a lot of people did. I was kind of somewhat in the middle. His matches were always so good. I just didn't like the fact the one thing I did hold against him for years was the whole Nexus thing, where he admitted later on that he went out there at SummerSlam and buried the entire group. It was like a 10-man tag or something.
That was such a great match, though.
And even like Edge and Jericho, who are his partners, were like, "No,
I was at the Raw in 2011 when they were in Little Rock, his first Raw back after getting that beat down from the Nexus, and I kept trying to figure out, okay, what's the play here? CM Punk, ain't no way I could have seen that one coming.
Oh, the night he joined Nexus?
The night he joined it, I was like, did that just happen? But my biggest qualm with John Cena was the fact that it was always the same thing. He never turned heel. He kept saying he never wanted to turn heel. Now, perfect time to do it. Absolute perfect time to do it.
Perfect because nobody ever saw it coming.
Nobody knew it would happen. Nobody.
Yeah. That night we were watching it and we go, something has to happen. Like the show can't just end with him saying "fuck you, Rock" and that being the end of it. And they hug and kiss and pyro goes off. That'd be a shitty ending. When they went up and they hugged, and then John just like opened his eyes and looked up at the Rock. I like patted my brother on the shoulder, like, "Oh shit, oh shit."
I was talking to a friend of mine the morning of, or the day before, and I said we were sitting there talking about it, and I said, just John Cena's going to turn heel. John Cena's going to turn heel some way, somehow. He is going to turn heel. My little brother that night and I were texting back and forth, and he was like, "Man, are they really gonna? They're really gonna do it like this? They're really gonna cut the show off right after Cody says that to The Rock?" And I went, give it 30 seconds. Watch what happens. And as soon as I said that, you see The Rock go. And I went, there it is.
My brother's he watches wrestling. We're going to watch WrestleMania next week and have a big party and because he used to love wrestling too. He's not as big into it now as he used to be. But that was a night that both of us kind of went, like we both jumped up out of our seats. It was like, oh my God, it's happening. It's happening. And then
I
when
didn't
he
expect it to happen the way it did. I'll be honest with you, because that was a whole holy shit moment. I was like,
not in a million years. And then I thought, and did you see the post show where he
yeah.
came out for his interview and
And
literally
he
all
just
this
went,
dropped it and walked off?
I
Uh,
was like, this is, can I say, this
yeah,
is fucking brilliant.
yes,
I was like, I am hooked. I have got to know where this is headed because, oh my God. Because guys like me have waited 20 years for this moment.
yep, yeah.
We have waited 20 years for hustle, loyalty, and respect to just go away and see what heel Cena looks like. And the promo that he gave, was it the Monday after? Or
It was
was
like
it
2 weeks after. I
it
think it was
was
like,
or was it 2 weeks after, where he was like, "I've given you every," oh my God.
there were people complaining about that promo saying it wasn't. I'm like, that promo was great. It was what it needed to be. Like it was,
I couldn't for the first time in like 25 years, I'm going, is this really John or is this scripted? Because I'm on the edge of my seat going, I don't know if this is real or not. Because that was how much emotion was put into it. You could tell he was soaking in the character. And I was just like, I'm
yeah,
I'm, I'm invested now. I got to see where this is going.
10, 15 years. Because the first few years, John was a baby face. Like he was super loved and super over. It went till about probably 07, 08 where he really started getting let's go Cena, Cena sucks, kind of thing.
Well,
Oh,
but when you're,
or 05, he was pretty well loved universally. But
over the years, if you really think about it, go back to 1990. Over the years, you have different. I mean, you've got these certain guys that are good as heels, and then they're good as baby faces, and then you've got those guys that are sprinkled in that are good at both. That are good at both. Cena's just always been a face. He's always been, the hero of the bunch. I don't have audio, Aaron. Your wife didn't cut off the Wi-Fi. She's like, "All right, you're done. Go back inside." Hold on, let me see if it's not on my end. Yep, I still don't have audio. Now, let me see if I can come back in, and maybe it is on my end. I don't know.
all right, guys, I'm sorry. I don't know what happened. Everything got cut off. And if you can hear this, thank you for sticking around. If not, that's our WrestleMania prediction show. We'll try to do another show on Friday, the night before WrestleMania. Thank you for watching. I'll talk to you guys later.